What? Okay.
We're starting from the Mishnah on Daf Lamed Beis Amud Aleph. Elu ne'emarim b'chol lashon. Sagt the Mishnah, Elu ne'emarim b'chol lashon. The following things can be said in any language. Parsha sotah, and that's how it comes into Masechta Sotah. So the Parsha sotah, that which has to be said to the woman, the atki sotis tachas ishech, the whole thing that we said we have to say to the woman, it has to be said. It can be said in any language. Vidui meiser, when you bring meiser, when you're misvada at the end by beer hamaisers, and you bring whatever has to be brought to the Beis Hamikdash, and you say be arti akedesh min habayis, gam nesativ lalevi, that whole drasha, you can say it in any language. Kriya Shema can be said in any language. Tefillah Shemona Esrei can be said in any language. Birchas Hamazon can be said in any language. Shvuas ha'edus. If Bezdin gives somebody a shvuah and he doesn't know edus, he doesn't know any edus for this baldin, that shvuah can be said in any language. Shvuas ha'pikadon. When a shomer is suspected of mistreating a pikadon and he has to take a shvuah, it's also can be said in any language. The following have to be said dafke in lashon kodesh. They cannot be said in any language. They have to be said dafke in lashon kodesh. Mikra bikurim. When you bring bikurim to the Beis Hamikdash, you say Arami Eved Avi. It has to be said in lashon kodesh. A chalitza. When chalitza takes place, so the woman has to say, the bezdin has to say kacha yei asa la'ish asher liyivna as beis achiv, and so that has to be said in lashon hakodesh. Brachas uklalos, when they come to Eretz Yisrael and they come to Har Grizim and Har Evel, and over there the Leviim have to say Evanu Leviim va'amru kel ram arer ha'ish, and then the opposite brachas. All that has to be said in lashon kodesh. Birchas Keinim, when the Keinim duchen, after duchen in lashon kodesh. Birchas Kein Gadol, when Kein Gadol says the brachas on Yom Kippur, after learning from the Torah, he has to say them in lashon kodesh. Parshas HaMelech, that's on Hakel, when the Melech reads from the Torah, it has to be read in lashon kodesh. Parshas Egla Arufa, it's on Hedron, has to say Yadeinu le'shavkos Adam Azeh v'neinu le'ro Kaper la'amcha Yisrael asher padisa Hashem. All that has to be said in lashon kodesh. U'mashuach milchama b'shah shemedaber al ha'am. When Yidden go to war, so there's a special kohen who is anointed for the purpose of leading the Yidden by the war, and he speaks to the nation as the Torah instructs him to. He has to speak to them lashon kodesh. Mikra bikurim keitzad. Now the word keitzad here, Mikra bikurim keitzad. The word keitzad here actually means like minalan. How do we know it? It says in the pasuk, "V'anisa v'amarta lefnei Hashem Elokecha." You should declare and you should say before Hashem your God. Well, halanu emer, and another pasuk it says, and that "V'anisa v'amarta lefnei Hashem Elokecha" is by bikurim. And by brachas uklalos it says, "V'anu haLeviim v'amru," that the Leviim should declare and say. So ma'alahalim b'lashon hakodesh, just like the Leviim have to say their brachas and klalos and lashon hakodesh, avkan b'lashon hakodesh. So we learn from the fact that here it says aniyah v'amira. And here it says Aniyah v'amira, that bikurim also has to be said, mikra bikurim also has to be said in lashon hakodesh. Chalitza keitzad, how do we know that chalitza has to be in lashon hakodesh? It says v'ansa v'amra, she should declare and she should say. Well, halanu eimer, and by the brachas a klalos of the Leviim it says v'anu alevim v'amru. So ma'alahalam b'lashon hakodesh, avkam b'lashon hakodesh, just like by the Leviim where it says v'anu v'amru, it means in lashon hakodesh. So by chalitza where it says v'ansa v'amra, it's also b'lashon hakodesh. Rabbi Yehuda says v'ansa v'amra kacha. It says by chalitza v'ansa v'amra kacha. She should say, "So shall be done to the man who won't rebuild his brother's home." So from the word kacha we learn achatemer b'lashon hazeh. She has to say it exactly in this lashon. In lashon hakodesh, she can't translate it into another language. Brachas uklalos keitzad. How do we know that brachas uklalos? Now here the word keitzad means how exactly did it happen? The brachas uklalos that the Leviim said, we learned all these halachas. We learned from v'anu v'amru by the Leviim. So how did exactly the brachas uklalos by the Leviim? How did it work? So the Mishnah says, "Kivin she'avri Yisrael as hayarden." When the Yidden crossed the Yarden, bo'el har Grizim vel har Evel, shebeshemrein, shebetzad Shechem, they came to the mountains of Grizim and Mount Evel, which is in Shemrein next to Shechem, shebe'etzel elene meira, next to elene meira. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, halehema be'eved hayarden v'gemer. It says that these mountains are across the Jordan, Halanu Eimer, and it says in another pasuk in Chumash Bereshis, Vayaber Avram ba'aretz ad mekem Shechem ad Elin Meira. So Ma'ilin Meira Ha'amar lahalan Shechem, just like the Elin Meira, which is said by Avram, is Shechem. Af Elin Meira Ha'amar Kan. So over here by Brachos Eklolos, when it says Halehema be'Eved Ayardin Eitzel Alein Meira, it also means Shechem. So Shisha Shvatim al l'reish Har Grizim. 6 Shvatim went up to the top of Har Grizim. Shisha Shvatim al l'reish Har Evel, and 6 Shvatim went to the top of Har Evel. The Kayanim, the Kayanim, the Leviyim, and the Arein are standing in between the 2 mountains on the bottom. Mata be'emtza. HaKayanim akifim es Arein. The Kayanim are surrounding the Arein. V'Leviyim es HaKayanim, and the Leviyim are surrounding the Kayanim. Chol Yisrael, Mikanu Mikan, and the rest of Klal Yisrael are standing on both sides of the 2 mountains. Shenamar, as it says, V'chol Yisrael l'skeina v'sheitra v'sheiftav imdim mizel mizel ha'arein gamer. And all the Yidden and their elders and their sheitrim and their sheiftim are all standing on both sides of the Arein. Havchu pneim klape Har Grizim. So the Leviyim turned towards Mount Grizim. Upaschu b'bracha, and they started with the bracha. Baruch ha'ish asher lo yaseh pesel l'maseicha. Blessed is the man who doesn't make an idol. Ve'elu ve'elu eimnim amen, and everybody answered amen. Havchu pneim klape Har Evel. So everybody turned their faces towards Har Evel. There's Leviyim, turned their faces towards Har Evel. Apaschu b'klola, and they started with the klola. Cursed be the man who makes an idol. Everybody answered amen. And so they went back and forth. A bracha, a klola, a bracha, a klola, and everybody answered amen on each one. Brachas until they finished all the brachas and all the klolas. Then they brought stones. They built a mizbeach. They covered it in lime. The Kaswala was called Divrei HaTorah, and they wrote the entire Torah on the lime, on the Mizbeach, B'Shivim Lashon, in 70 languages. Shenamar, as it says, Bayer Heitev, they wrote it well explained. Well explained means translated into 70 languages. Natlu Sa'avanim, they took the stones, and they went and they spent the night in the place where they were staying, in the place where they were camping. That's the Mishnah. Now we start the Gemara on the top of Daf Lamed Beis, Amud Beis. Parsha Sotah Minola. How do we know that Parsha Sotah, which was the first thing mentioned in the Mishnah, how do we know that it can be said in any language? Says the Gemara, the Chsiv, because it says in the pasuk, "Amar Kain lo isha." Kain should say to the woman, and that implies b'chalashan shuhu aimer. But Amar HaKain lo isha, the Kain should say to the woman, implies in any language that he can say. Tanu Rabbanan, the Rabbanan learned in the Braisa, Mashmiya Meisa b'chalashan shishemas. She's given to understand in any language that she understands. Al mahi shoisa, on what she's drinking. B'mehi shoisa, in what she's drinking. Al ma nitmis, for what she became defiled. B'mehi nitmis, with what she became defiled. Al mahi shoisa, for what is she drinking? Al iske kina yastira, because she was warned not to support herself with this man, and she violated the warning. B'mehi shoisa, and what is she drinking? B'mekida shel cheres, in this earthenware vessel. B'mehi nitmis, and in what was she? With what was she defiled? The shegi gave amazing. It was either unintentionally or intentionally. But it was either by force or willingly. Why does she have to be told all these details before she drinks? In order not to give out a bad name on the mayim amarim. Because if she, let's say, was nitma b'shegig, or ba'inus, and the waters are not going to affect her, she needs to know. She needs to be told that the reason the waters are not going to affect her is because she was nitma b'shegig or ba'inus. Vidui Maisa. The Mishnah said that by Vidui Maisa, sorry, Gershon, do you want to ask something?
No, you just jumped over Almai Shoisa, where was it? Manit Mace, Al Sheikh Yaldus. You went straight to.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Al Manit Mace. And what did she become? Tamei Al Iskes Sheikh Yaldus for childish play. Acted silly and childish. And what did she become? Tamei, b'shegig, b'mezid, b'einus, b'ratzon, either unintentionally or intentionally, either by force or willingly. Why do we have to go into all these halachas of the water? So the haitzi laz al mayim hamarim, not to give out a bad name on the mayim hamarim, people should think they're ineffective. So she's told clearly before she drinks in what circumstances the waters should be expected to be effective, and what circumstances the waters should be expected not to be effective. Vidui Meiser Minolan. How do we know that when the Vidui Meiser is recited, that it can be said in any language? Because it says, you should say before Hashem your God, I have exterminated all the holy things from the house. In other words, the trumas, the meiseros, everything that has to be gotten rid of, I got rid of. And we learn Amira from Sotah. By Sotah it says here it says Amarta. So just like by Sotah, just like by Sotah, Amar Hakain Laisha means B'chalashon Shehu Eimer. So over here also by Vidui Meiser where it says Amarta, it also means B'chalashon Shehu Eimer. Amar Leid Avzvid La Bayis, and Avzvid asked Abaya a question: why are you learning a Gzeda Shava from Sotah? Just like by Sotah it says Amar Hakain Laisha. Here it says Amarta. So just like there it's B'chalashon, here it's B'chalashon. Why don't you derive Amira from Levim? Just like the Levim, Ba'anu Ba'amru has to be Lashon HaKedesh. So perhaps over here also has to be Lashon HaKedesh. And for the Gemara, done in Amira Gridita, where it says plain Amira, we learn from another place where it says plain Amira. So by Sotah it says Amar Hakain Leisha, and by Vidui Meiser it says V'amarta L'fnei Hashem Elokecha. So the two go together. Vein done in Amira Gridita me Aniya V'Amira. We don't derive plain Amira from Aniya V'Amira. By the Levim it says V'anu V'Amru. And over here by Vidui Meiser just says V'amarta L'fnei Hashem Elokecha. There's no V'anisa V'amarta. So we learn Amira, plain Amira from plain Amira, and Amira Aniya V'Amira from Aniya V'Amira. Tanya Reb Shimon Bar Yochai Eimer. Shgacha Pratas Arab like Beimer. We have a brayso from Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. Tanya, we learned in the brayso Reb Shimon Bar Yochai said, Adam Eimer Shvachei B'Kel Namuch Ugnusei B'Kel Ram. A person says praiseworthy things about himself in a low tone, low voice, and when he says shameful things about himself, he says it out loud. Shvachei B'Kel Namuch. Where do we find that a person, when he praises himself, he speaks in a low voice? Min Vidui Meiser. From Vidui Meiser, it doesn't say V'anisa V'amarta. It just says V'amarta L'fnei Hashem Elokecha. You don't have to announce it. You can say it quietly. The Arti HaKedesh Min Abayis. I'm a fine gentleman. I did everything that was required of me. I got rid of the trumas and the meiseros and the bikurim, everything I needed to get rid of. Gnusei B'Kel Ram, when he speaks about his own shame, he says it out loud. Mimikra Bikurim. From Mikra Bikurim. Bikurim, you say Anami Emed Avi, that our ancestors were but we stem from Lavan. So, and that you say Anisa V'amarta, that is said out loud. So you say Gnusei B'Kel Ram. Fragt the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Yechanan Mishum Reb Shimon ben Yochai. Didn't Rabbi Yechanan say in the name of Reb Shimon ben Yochai, Mipnei Ma Taknu Tztiknu Tefillah B'Lachash? Why would the Chachamim Masakin that Shmoneh Esrei should sit quietly? In order not to shame people who are confessing their sins in Shmoneh Esrei. As we see that in the Beis Hamikdash, the Torah does not distinguish between the place where you offer the chatas on the mizbeach and where you offer the oil on the mizbeach. In order that the person shouldn't know when you see somebody's the blood of his carbon being sprinkled on the mizbeach, you don't necessarily know that he sinned. It might be a carbon oil. So we do everything to protect the confidentiality of the sinner in order that his shame shouldn't have to be public. So why did we say Gnusei B'Kel Ram, that a person says his shame out loud? And for the Gemara, the statement that he said about a person says Gnusei B'Kel Ram doesn't mean Gnusei, his shame, it means Tzairei, his pain. In the Tanya, as we learned in the Brayso, the Tamei Yikra, it says the Metzora should walk around announcing the fact that he's Tamei. Which means that when a person is suffering, he should inform of his pain to the many, and people will daven for him. Somebody who had an unpleasant situation in his life should inform the many, and many people were daven for him. Gufa, we mentioned before, that Rabbi Yechanan said in the name of Shimon ben Yochai, why would the Chachamim Masakin that Shmoneh Esrei should be said quietly? Not to shame people who have transgressed, done Avedas. Because the Torah did not distinguish, did not separate the place from a chatas and the place from an oil. Frag the Gemara. That's not the case. There is a difference in chatas and oil. But ikadamim, there's a difference where you sprinkle the blood. True, the fat, there's no difference between where you place the emurim. But where you sprinkle the blood, there is a difference. Dam chatas l'mayla, the blood of a chatas is sprinkled on the upper part of the mizbeach. The dam oila l'mata, and the blood of an oila is sprinkled on the lower part of the mizbeach. They're both shechted in the north of the mizbeach. So when a person comes to bring his carbon to the Beis Hamikdash, and he brings it to the kohen to shecht in the northern part of the mizbeach, and the northern part of the azara, we won't know if this is a chatas or an oila. So the Gemara asks, but what about the blood? The blood of a chatas goes on the top part of the mizbeach, and the blood of an oila goes on the bottom of the mizbeach. And for the Gemara, hasam kayin hu diyad. That's the kayin will know. The kayin will know whether it's a chatas or an oila, but it's not for public knowledge. The Gemara, because when people see blood sprinkled on the mizbeach, they don't know from whose carbon the blood is being sprinkled. Isn't there a distinction, a clear distinction between a chatas and an oila? And a chatas is a female animal, and an oila is a male animal. And for the Gemara, hasam michse ba'alya, that the gender of the animal is covered by the tail. And so therefore, when you bring an animal to the Beis Hamikdash, it's not clear to people who are looking whether you're bringing a male or a female. That's a good answer if you're bringing a lamb. But if you bring a goat doesn't have a tail. So that it's clear, the gender of the goat will be clear. So if you brought a female goat, it's clear that it's a chatas. If you brought a male goat, it's clear that it's an oila. And for the Gemara, hasam iu de kamichsef nafshay. There he's choosing to shame himself. Because he had an option to bring a lamb and it would not have shamed him. If he chose to bring a goat, and he's bringing a goat, that's his problem. What are you going to tell me in the case of a chatos for Avodah Zarah, where it has to be a goat? The Torah says by a person who served Avodah Zarah, there has to be a goat. So there, what are you going to tell me? Over there, there's no tail, and it's clear that it's a male goat. So it's clear that it's for the purpose it's a female goat for a chatos. So it's clear that it's a chatos. It's not an oila, because an oila would be male and a chatos would be female. So what are you going to say in that case? The Gemara hasam nichsef and nazel. Over there, it's good that he should be shamed. In order that it should atone for him. Such a severe aveda like Avodah Zarah, the more shame he'll have, the greater his atonement will be. Okay, back to the Mishnah. One of the things we learned in the Mishnah that Kriyashma and Tefillah can be recited in any language. Practic Gemara Krishma Minolan. How do we know that Krishma can be said in any language? The Chsiv, it says Shema Yisrael, and Shema Yisrael means b'chalashon shatishameya. Shema means to understand. So in any language that you understand, you can learn Krishma. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in a Braisa Krishma Kichsava. Krishma has to be read the way it's written. In other words, in Lashon HaKodesh. Divrei Rebbe, that's the opinion of Rebbe. The Chachamim argue on Rebbe, and they say b'chal lashon. It could be said in any language. My time is the Rebbe. What's the reason of Rebbe who says that Krishma has to be read in Lashon HaKodesh? Amar Kra, because it says in the pasuk v'hayu. It says v'hayu advarim ha'ila. V'hayu means v'havayasan Yehu. The way they are, they should be. The Rabbanon Amar Kra Shema, and the Chachamim will respond to that and say, but it says in the pasuk Shema, Chalashon Shat Kishameya, which means in any language that you understand. According to the Chachamim who say it's okay to read Shema in any language, because it says Shema, but doesn't it also say V'hayu? That comes to teach me that it has to be read in the proper order, and you cannot read the third portion before the second portion before the first portion. The Rebbe. So then, if Rebbe used V'hayu to tell me
that they should be in Ivrit, in Lashon HaKodesh.
Kodesh, where does he learn the din shleik and lamafreya? The Gemara Where does he learn the din of Shlei Kanan Mafreya? For the Gemara, Nafkele Midvarim Hadvarim. Could have said V'hayu Dvarim Ha'ila. That would have been enough to tell you that it has to be read Kichsava. Hadvarim teaches you an extra limit. Not only does it have to be read Kichsava, it also has to be read Kisidran in the proper order. But Rabbanan and the Chachamim will respond to that. Dvarim Hadvarim Lei Mashmalahu. They don't hold that you can learn up a halacha from the fact that it could have said Dvarim and it says Hadvarim. The Rebbe who says that Shema can be read in any language, that Shema can be said Dafka Lashon Kodesh because it says V'hayu, but doesn't it also say Shema, which would imply B'chalashon Shatei Shemeya? Says the Gemara, the word Shema we need Lashmiel Azlacha Mashat Meitzim Mipicha to tell you the halacha. And when you read the Shema, you have to hear with your ears what you're saying with your mouth. V'Rabbanan. So what would the Chachamim respond to that? If you need Shema to tell you Lashmiel Azlacha Mashat Meitzim Mipicha, so how can the Chachamim say that from Shema we learn B'chalashon Shatei Shemeya? For the Gemara, Sabri La Commando Amar, they hold like the opinion, Akedes Shema V'Lishmiel Azlai, and if a person read the Shema and he couldn't hear with his ears what he was saying out of his mouth, Yatsa is Yatsa. So therefore they don't need a pasuk for that. Says the Gemara, Leima Kasaber Rebbe, perhaps we should say that Rebbe holds that the entire Torah you can read in Lashon Kodesh. In other words, when you read the Torah in Shul, you have to learn it in Lashon HaKodesh. So must be.
B'chol Lashon sounds any language. So only Kriya Shema has to be Dafka Lashon HaKodesh.
Perhaps the Rebbe holds that the whole Torah, when you learn the Torah in Shul, you can learn the Torah in any language you want. Because if you think that Rebbe holds that the whole Torah has to be read in Lashon HaKodesh, so why does it have to say V'hayu by Kriya Shema? If the whole Torah is Lashon HaKodesh, then automatically Kriya Shema is Lashon HaKodesh. Why does it have to say V'hayu by Kriya Shema? So the fact that Rebbe holds that from V'hayu we learn that it has to be Lashon HaKodesh is an ayah that Rebbe holds that the rest of the Torah can be read in any language. Says the Gemara, no. Be'emes Rebbe holds that the whole Torah has to be read in Lashon HaKodesh. And nevertheless, you need V'hayu by Krishma. Itzrich, you need the V'hayu by Krishma. Why? Since it says Shema Yisrael, and you might think that you can learn from Shema Yisrael the Chalasha in Shatei Shemeya, that you can hear, you can do it in any language you want. That's why the Torah has to tell you V'hayu, that you shouldn't think that the Shema comes to tell you Chalasha Shatei Shemeya. Fragt die Gemara. Lema Kasabri Rabbanon. Perhaps the Rabbanon hold Kol HaTorah Kula B'Lashon Kodesh Nemer. That the whole Torah has to be read Dafka Lashon Kodesh. Isaac Gedaitem Chalashin, because if you hold it, the Rabbanon would say, hey, you can learn the Torah in any language. Shema the Kasav Rachman Alamali. So why does the Torah have to say Shema B'Chalashin Shatei Shemeya? The whole Torah you can read in any language. For the Gemara Itzrich, you still need the pasuk Shema to tell you that you can read the Chishma in any language. You shouldn't chsiv V'hayu, because since it says V'hayu Advarim Ha'ela, and from V'hayu you might interpret that to mean that it has to be B'Haviyas and Yehu, it has to be just as it is in Lashon HaKodesh. That's why we need Shema to tell you the Chalashin Shatei Shemeya. But really, the Torah, whole Torah, also has to be read in Lashon Kodesh. The only reason the Torah has to say to you V'hayu, B'Haviyas and Yehu, is only to be Shelo the limit of Chalashin Shatei Shemeya. Okay.
So really,
yeah. Sorry.
No, it could be that the Torah was, you could learn the Torah in any language, but we might just think the Shema Dafka would have to be in Lashon HaKodesh because of Hayu. So it comes Shema.
Correct. Okay, we'll hold it over there. We continue tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 3?
Yeah, tomorrow's 3 o'clock.
What's happening there in London?
Find out.
Huh?
We will find out. I think Mashiach is coming and we'll all be there tomorrow.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Well, they're doing in certain parts of America. They've got a Madura on a truck with a fire truck behind it.
Sounds exciting. That's love, Rabba.
Rabbi Gordon, I have a question.
Yes.
This is like somewhat related because it's talking about Shema. What's the difference between serving Hashem b'kol nafshecha and b'kol me'odecha? Like, I don't.
You want to know al pi pshat, al pi chassidus?
Yeah, either or both. If you have both, okay. Al pi pshat, b'kol nafshecha is it takes your soul. If it takes your soul, b'kol me'odecha is all your might and all your money. But isn't b'kol nafshecha like greater in a certain way in that perspective?
There's a lot of discussion in chassidus about this. The Kitzer, what says in Chassidus is that b'chol nafshecha means with all your soul. That's you put in everything you got, but it's limited according to what you have. Chol me'idecha means going over the top, completely bli gvul. Ma'id, the word ma'id means very. How much is very? Very is a very relative term, but the real meaning of ma'id is bli gvul. Me'idecha means to go totally over the top. That's a question.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay. Wish you a lot of hatzlacha.
I mean.
Okay, Zayas on call to the
You too.
Shkoyach.